Sports.
We are Sun Sports. We are Sun Sports.
Last night, Erasmo Ramirez was electric as the Rays righted the ship and got back into the win column. Today, two of the top arms in the American League square off as Jake Odorizzi returns to face Houston's all-star lefty Dallas Keuchel. It's the Rays and the Astros on Sun Sports. We welcome you to Tropicana Field for this late afternoon start. The matchup, game 2 of this series between the Houston Astros and the Rays. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Rays Baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you with us on the heels of a Rays victory last night, 3-1. A little more like it from the Rays' perspective. And oh, what a pitching matchup we have today. The Rays have not seen Jake Odorizzi since the first few days of June, and he draws as his pitching opponent Dallas Keuchel. 11 wins, and he leads the major leagues in innings pitched.
And what you love about this matchup is these guys go about their business exactly the same way. They want to go out, get ahead, and put you away, not waste any time. They're both very efficient with their pitch counts. And for Jake Odorizzi, this is the first time that we're going to see Jake since June 5th. That was against Seattle. Of course, he left with the oblique injury. He had a couple of good minor league rehab assignment starts, so he's locked in right now. And he's a guy that, as we've made this point, every time he goes to the mound, he utilizes the entire strike zone. Fastball up, fastball down. He's going to work in and out. He's got the curveball, the changeup, and the cutter to go along with it. Jake Odorizzi chomping at the bit to get back out there today, and he's going to face off with Dallas Keuchel. You know, you can make a case for him as the top starter in the American League right now. When you look at the record, tied for first in wins, leading the American League in earned run average. You talked about the innings pitched. He's a guy, he's a horse. You see a lot of strikeouts right here, and he certainly has the ability to go and get the strikeout, but his bread and butter is keeping the ball down, getting ground balls, best ground ball rate in Major League Baseball, using his infielders for success.
Well, Jake Odorizzi's done some of his better work here at Tropicana Field with a 164 earned run average, and Dallas Keuchel, same way for this Houston ball club, although don't let that 3-3 and a 3.28 ERA on the road mislead you. This is a top-flight Major League pitcher, and as you mentioned, might be the best pitcher in certainly the American League at this very moment. But Jake Odorizzi, I'd like to have something to say about that. When he comes back, the Rays happy to have him. Todd Kalas will break him down.
Little Saturday afternoon baseball as Dallas Keuchel will face the Rays, possibly the American League All-Star starter in a few days. His opponent will be Jake Odorizzi, and the Rays are so happy to see Odorizzi back on the mound. They have not seen him pitch in a Major League game since June 5th in Seattle 5 weeks and a day ago. It was Odorizzi on this start in Safeco Field in Seattle where he started to feel that oblique. It would go down as a mild oblique strain. Originally, he felt like he was only going to miss a few starts, but here he is a month and a week later getting his first start since. Odorizzi talks about returning and how he can help out a staff that has been used a lot in the first half.
I'm getting one in now and don't have to sit on it and wait, but I think, it'll be good for me. Just I could be on normal rest after the All-Star break, so I could come back pretty quick and give these guys who haven't had a break for the last, first half of the season besides their normal rest, give them an extra break, 6-7 days rest, 8 days rest, whatever they may need. So I can kind of pick up the slack being I need to pitch, whereas they need rest.
Rays have played 33 games in 34 days going into the All-Star break, so Odorizzi activated at a perfect time. We're ready for baseball. Should be a fun afternoon at Tropicana Field. First pitch in 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Astros square off in the middle game of this 3-game series at the Trop. Rays winners last night 3-1 in the first meeting of 7 to be played between these two clubs. Starting lineup for Houston presented by your Southern Ford dealers. It's going to be Altuve to lead it off again. Jose Altuve, then Preston Tucker, followed by Carlos Correa, Rasmus Gaddis and Balbuena down the middle. Conger, Singleton, and Presley 7, 8, and 9. All set to play ball. Jake Odorizzi's first pitch presented by Pinch a Penny, and it's a fastball missing just a bit wide. Two 2-0. Odorizzi making his first start since the 5th of June.
13th overall on the season. Not a whole lot to show in the record for the ERA of 2.47, but he hasn't had a whole lot of support either.
High popper off the bat of Altuve. And that's Cabrera settling under it, 1 away.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rays defense and see how it's going to line up behind Jake here this afternoon. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield, left to right, different looking outfield. Jake Elmore, Brandon Geyer, and Joey Butler across that infield, third to first. More of the same, Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Loney, with Rene Rivera behind the plate.
Preston Tucker, local product. Rays have the shift on him, and the pitch is too high, a fastball. 1-0.
Overload that right side. This is something you're going to see all series long.
It's a foul ball and right off the mask of Rene Rivera. Pretty good shot. Greg Gibson checking with him to see if he's all right, and Rivera says yes, but can you trust a guy who takes a shot off the mask like that?
You know, listen, he's been pretty quiet lately too, and that one caught him clean right off of the forehead. That is a straight-on shot. You don't get hit much cleaner than that.
Gibson giving him a little time to recover and asking him, look, man-to-man, face-to-face, are you all right? And he says yes.
He's programmed very well. If they ask
front on that change, 1 and 2.
If they ask you fingers, you always go with 2. If they give you multiple choice, you stick with C, and you know yes, and then you stay in the ball game. It's that simple.
2 C, yes. Pop foul. It's back and out of play. Jake Odorizzi, 25-year-old right-hander. And boy, when he left with that oblique issue, he was outstanding. Hitters had to protect the entire strike zone with him out there.
Well, that's part of it. You see right there, trying to climb the ladder against Preston Tucker. And Dwayne, you're absolutely right. He forces you to deal with all 4 corners and everywhere in between. And that can make it difficult on a hitter because he doesn't stay in one area for too long.
Ground ball, and that's out of the ship. Longoria takes care of the ground ball. We mentioned last night these are the 2 shiftingest teams in baseball, and last year the Astros far and away were the shiftiest team. Right now the Rays have employed the shift a little more often than Houston, but they're still 1-2 and the top 2 shiftingest teams in the game.
And third place is not real close. I mean, you go, yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, the third place team that is the Yankees, and they're over 230 shifts behind Houston.
Pitch down to Carlos Correa. So it's a battle of the shifts here when these teams get together. It's popped to the right side, foul, will carry out a play. The count's now 1-1. The Rays have been trying to get this 25-man roster all back together and healthy. Down to first, picked up by Loney, and he takes care of that one unassisted. We're going to go into the bottom half of the first from the Trop. No score. Rays coming in to hit. inning. Take a look at the lineup put together by Kevin Cash and presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Brandon Geyer is going to lead off today, followed by John Jaso and Evan Longoria. Logan Forsythe, Joey Butler, and James Loney down the middle with Asdrubal Cabrera, Jay Gilmore, and Rene Rivera in the 7th, 8th, and 9th spots, all against Dallas Keuchel.
Well, having an impressive year, 18 starts, 3 complete games, tied for first in the American League in wins, leading the American League in ERA, and leading baseball in innings pitched.
First pitch is away from Brandon Geyer, 1-0. 2-0. Keuchel last year really started to emerge at 12-9 and 29 starts and a .293 earned run average, and he just picked up from there and improved upon that.
Well, he has such a great feel for pitching, knows exactly what he wants to do. He's been very efficient with his pitches. And he's in attack mode all the time. Just understands what hitters are trying to do off of him and how to make adjustments, how to game plan.
2-2 count. He's 27 years old, out of the University of Arkansas. And you can see right there on the GMC Big Matchup where he stacks up in all the important categories.
Right down the line.
Pop to the right side. That's Singleton, the first baseman. But he will not get there in time. That ball falling down near the bullpen.
And I think that one thing that you're going to see this Rays lineup do is attack Dallas Keuchel early. He's just one of those guys, he's thrown the 3rd fewest pitches per inning in the American League to go along with all of this. So he gets his work done quickly. And because he's so efficient, that's what's led to the ability to get deep into games and obviously lead in innings pitched.
We have 2 guys here who don't throw that many pitches per inning when they're right. Odorizzi just a little over 15 pitches an inning this year, and Keuchel just a little over 14.5 pitches per inning. So they go about their business, know what they want to do, and execute well.
And that's why you fully expect both lineups. We know the Astros are aggressive. I would expect the Rays to be also.
Ground ball headed to the right side, and that's played by Altuve to first. Geyer is out number 1.
Now let's take a look at that Astro defense and see how it's going to line up. Behind Mr. Keuchel, brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Alex Presley, Colby Rasmus, and Preston Tucker. Across the infield, third to first, Luis Valbuena, Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, and John Singleton, with Hank Conger behind the plate.
Well, John Jaso has come off the disabled list with a hot bat in there against the tough left-hander today. And it's a 1-0 count. He is 8 for 15 with 4 walks. This one back to the mound, grabbed by Keuchel. That's another thing Keuchel does extremely well. Not much you can find that's a negative in his game, and he is an outstanding Gold Glove fielding pitcher.
Well, he puts himself in position. Anything that you can do to help yourself. You try, as a left-hander especially, you're trying to slow down the running game, field your position, throw strikes. You just work on all aspects of your game to maximize the opportunities to get outs.
Here's Evan Longoria. He goes for the first pitch, rolls it to short. Correa makes the throw to first, and the Rays are up and down on 3 ground ball outs. On to the second, no score. He had a 1-2-3 first. 12 pitches in that one. Keuchel 10 pitches in the first.
And we talked about these pitchers being efficient. This is another reason that you understand why these hitters are going to be aggressive. Look at this. The American League leaders, starting pitchers, in batting average against with 2 strikes. Erasmo Ramirez, Dallas Keuchel leading the way, Jake Odorizzi in the 4-hole. So not only are they efficient, but when they get ahead of you and 2 strikes, you don't have much of a chance. So that's why this lineup, you saw it with Evan Longoria, you just saw it with Colby Rasmus. There's going to be a lot of early swings.
And out of the shift, Colby Rasmus grounds out to Longoria on the right side.
How about Erasmo Ramirez sneaking his way up there? You know, the way that he's able to work that changeup.
And what a great story he has been. A guy with just a great sunny disposition, a great attitude, and he's pitching extremely well. And Ramirez got the win last night. It's a ball low to Evan Gattis, 1-0. Ramirez now 8-3 for the Rays, coming off 6 superb innings of 1-run, 4-hit baseball last night.
And did it on just 77 pitches. You know, he's in that 13 per range. Talk about keeping a guy fresh.
That's a strike. 1-2 to Gattis. Gattis among the league leaders in runs batted in with 53. Lays off the changeup down, and it's 2-2. Ground ball. Evan at third base now takes care of that. Longoria's been busy. He's been all over the infield with the shift on the right side. And now this one on the left side, the normal spot at third.
And that's why he's always working and taking those ground balls. You got all different angles. Look at, he's headed right back over there. He's a nomad. No real home. There he is.
Luis Valbuena keeps him busy. Seems to be very pleased about it. Valbuena stepping out. 19 home runs for the Houston third baseman coming over from the Chicago Cubs. Pitch is down. 1-0. He did show some power. You see, he has sprayed the ball around. He had power while he was with the Cubs, but I think they're surprised at what he's done to this point. He's out on the ground ball to the right side, handled by Forsythe. So 3 ground balls, 3 outs, no score. Sun Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Morgan Auto Group. And by Kubota. To find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. Logan Forsythe stepping in. Facing Dallas Keuchel. Razorback against a Razorback. Both out of the University of Arkansas. And Forsythe takes the first pitch too low. There's a ground ball through the middle. Base hit into center for Forsythe. And the Rays got the first hit of the game. A leadoff base hit by Forsythe in the second.
Well, Dallas Keuchel not happy at all with himself for leaving that pitch up. And Logan Forsythe, and that's the correct approach against Dallas Keuchel, because he's a guy that for the majority of the time is going to work middle of the plate away. He picks his spots to come in on the right-handed hitter. So you've got to look middle away, and a lot of times that means an up-the-middle, other-way approach.
Here's Joey Butler. That's a strike on the outside part of the plate. A fastball. One and one. Keuchel 11-3 on the year. He is 8-0 at home with an earned run average of 124. It's 328 on the road, as we noticed at the outset. 3 wins, 3 losses on the road. He's given up 7 home runs on the year, and all of those have been on the road. And he misses. Now 3 balls and a strike. Chopped to short. Correa to Altuve. 1 and a wide throw to first. But Butler reaches. They get the lead man Forsythe at second. So with 1 on, we have 1 out. Let's check in with Todd Kalas for a moment. Todd?
Yeah, Dwayne, Ned Yost is going to have an interesting decision in the next 48 hours. Who is going to start for the American League All-Stars on Tuesday in Cincinnati? Here are your choices. Sonny Gray will not be eligible to pitch because he goes tomorrow, but we have to put his numbers up because they are so outstanding. Chris Sale pitching today. Dallas Keuchel pitching today. Chris Archer will have the most rest. The difference between Keuchel and Archer's numbers are Keuchel shut out the Royals for 8 innings, and Archer got hit around by Kansas City, guys.
Well, that'll be an interesting selection indeed by Ned Yost to pitch as a strike to James Loney. And the Royals manager did make note when the Rays were in Kansas City, because Archer would be the more rested of any other in particular pitcher. And so he might be able to get multiple innings if he needed a couple innings out of Archer. He could do that, and maybe not so inclined to do that with the others.
That's the one thing that Chris has going in his favor. But regardless, those 4 that were just highlighted, very, very deserving. And I'll tell you, you look at the numbers of Chris Archer and Chris Sale, very similar. I mean, ERA right on top, same number of strikeouts, batting average against with a couple of points. Just know how dominant these guys can be.
And Loney is out on strikes.
You don't see James Loney chasing fastballs out of the strike zone very often. But you're trying to protect here in a 1-2 count. And look at the late sinking action down and in. Left-handed hitters say fastball down and in, bad spot. Unless it's got good sink and you get it to the spot. And he did.
Yeah, how many left-handers can make that pitch? You just don't see that very often.
6'3" tall, coming, way over the top and driving that sinker downhill. It gives you a chance.
Here's Asdrubal Cabrera. And And a base hit into center. Butler's going to go to third. The pickup by Rasmus into second to throw, and safely in there is Cabrera. And Rasmus had to go to his right to come up with that one. And so that gave Butler a chance to go to third, and Cabrera an opportunity to run it into two.
Well, as Drupal Cabrera, look how he lengthens that swing and keeps his hands back. Even though his body was fooled, the hands stayed back long enough. And he hit that ball pretty hard. Got it in between those outfielders out in left center field, deep left center field. That's what allows him to get to second base, and now the Rays have a chance. A couple of runs with one hit.
Well, the Rays trying to make some noise here in the bottom of the second inning. Mother Nature making some noise outside with a thunderstorm in the area.
Look
and
out.
It's Jake Elmore.
Look out, substation number 6.
1-0 the count to Jake. Elmore 214 for the year, 316 against lefties. And the pitch is down, so he's up here in a key spot already, trying to shake out of a 1 for 29. Butler third, Cabrera second, and that just picked up the corner. 2-1. And that's strike 2, squaring the count. Rays with the first threat of the game. And that just missed. Boy, Keuchel thought he had strike 3, and he was on his way to the dugout. Rays may have gotten the big break right there.
Boy, this is how he picks his spots to come in. And boy, he throws that fastball. That absolutely, that little two-seamer, little comeback, that is a strike. And that's how he gets a lot of his strikeouts looking. Elmore gets a break.
And there is ball 4. And the bases are going to be loaded. Well, if you're Keuchel, you're trying to put that out of your mind and go on. But boy, he made a great pitch there and just didn't get the call.
It's one of those pitches that you know that you have the hitter set up for, and you know if you execute it, the at-bat's over, the inning's over. Not to mention there's runner on second and third, and then you make the pitch, and the umpire, in this case Greg Gibson, misses the call. Clear call, easy. He was set up to call it, didn't, and the Rays benefit with the walk.
Yeah, and he's accurate about 100% of the time when he's set up in that slot with a right-handed hitter. Very seldom will you see him miss that call. Now here's ball 1 to Rene Rivera. If he's going to be a little more lenient, it's going to be away from that right-handed hitter where you might get that call out there. But he's very good. Right there you see him in that slot. He never misses a call there, but he did on Keuchel. Ground ball and a base hit into right. Butler's going to score. Here comes the second run. Cabrera crosses the plate, and he just pulled a hamstring. Cabrera goes down as he scores, making it 2-0.
His last step was awkward. Going towards home plate. He reached out a little extra with that right leg and immediately went down.
Well, you could see him grab that hamstring. So the Rays take the lead on Rivera's base hit to right, but they're going to lose their shortstop. And you can see how painful that could be.
This one you don't even have to guess with. It was pretty obvious as soon as, watch him reach for home plate. He's extending, trying to score. Already kind of limping. Yeah, and there he goes. Score. No question.
Cabrera just now getting up. Ron Porterfield and Kevin Cash alongside Cabrera.
And you know what's interesting about that play is Preston Tucker kind of came after that ball like only one run was going to score, didn't realize there was somebody on second base. There was no sense of urgency to get that ball in. And Asdrubal Cabrera, he's expecting a throw from the right fielder there, and so he's obviously given it all he's got. Cost him his hamstring.
Here's Brandon Guyer with the Rays holding a 2-0 lead. Guyer fouls it out of play.
How about, let's tip the old helmet to Rene Rivera.
Oh, yes.
You know you're going to get those fastballs away. We don't often see Rene Rivera just trying to hit the ball the other way. He had an open right side to work with. Got that sinker down and away and shot it into right field. That was a great job by him.
1 ball, 1 strike. Butler and Cabrera have scored. Elmore's at second, Rivera at first. Slider down and in, and a miss there by Guyer. Forsythe opened with a single, was forced by Butler. The strikeout of Loney. Cabrera doubled, Elmore walked, and Rivera singled home both runs. Line drive into left off the bat of Guyer. Elmore hustles to the plate. It's going to be 3-0 as Brandon Guyer comes through. So Guyer, who homered last night, gets to start today and drives in a run in the second inning.
And you wonder if Dallas Keuchel's been able to put that missed fastball out of his mind, because since then, a couple of mistakes. Here's a slider here that stays middle. Brandon Guyer gets a really good look at it and is able to rip it out into left field. And the Rays, well, they have struck quickly here.
John Jaso takes a look at a strike. Jaso out pitcher first in the first. When the Rays went down on 3 ground balls, it took just 10 pitches. Jaso's quickly down in the count, 0-2.
And you know who else may be in Chris Archer's corner to get the start in the All-Star game? A.J. Hinch, manager of the Astros. Give this guy some rest.
Yep. Swing and a miss. So Jaso's out on strikes. 8 men come to the plate for the Rays in the inning, and they scored 3, leaving 2. 3-0 Tampa Bay. a 3-0 lead for Toyota Trend. See what the Rays have done against left-handed starting pitching this year. 15-8. Only in terms of winning percentage behind the Angels. 14-7. 10 straight wins against left-handed starters, and they've jumped to a 3-0 lead after 2 innings in this game. Well, the injury to Cabrera has necessitated a major overhaul of the Rays' defensive setup. And Conger takes the first pitch for a strike. Jake Elmore comes in from left field to play shortstop. It's a ball. It's 1-1. Kevin Kiermaier enters the game in center field, which moves Brandon Guyer over to right. And Guyer now in right. It started in center field, and Butler goes over to play left, with Guyer moving over to right field. So the outfield now has Guyer in right, Kiermaier in center, and Joey Butler in left. 1-2 to Conger, ground ball foul. And so Elmore, who was in left field to start the day, is now at shortstop. And of course, he's played all over the place for the Rays. Tuesday in Kansas City, in the first game of that doubleheader, he made his first start of the season at shortstop. Conger is out on strikes. First strikeout for Odorizzi.
This Rays pitching staff matches up very well against this lineup because of the ability to use this pitch effectively, and that's the changeup. Jake Odorizzi, of course, is going to split the fingers on his changeup. Erasmo Ramirez, a little bit more traditional, but this is a young, aggressive, fastball hunting, home run hitting team susceptible to that off-speed pitch.
John Singleton looks at a breaking ball for a strike, and you'll see those occasionally from Odorizzi. And he starts Singleton with one, who takes it for strike one.
Well, if you spin it in there and you've got confidence you can throw it for a strike, most hitters aren't going to swing it that early. It just gives you a free pitch to jump out in front 0-1.
1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Jake Odorizzi back on the mound for the Rays for the first time since June the 5th. This is up and away with the off speed. 3 and 1. Alex Presley is the on deck hitter. And that's ball 4. He missed with a fastball away. Singleton becomes the first Houston base runner. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SSDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Alex Presley. There's a strike. Presley starting in left field today. Spent the better part of this year at AAA Fresno. He's hitting over 300 there. One and 1.
That's a big lead there by John Singleton.
Pitch is foul, out of play. Yeah, that's interesting over there with that lead. He's known more for his power and not his running. Of course, the Astros first in steals. The Rays are second in the American League. And Singleton, a big power guy, a lot of strikeouts, and he can hit the ball a long way.
Anytime you see that left foot, you know, it's a great measurement here that the cut right here, you see that left foot getting out there close. That's a pretty aggressive lead.
And Presley out on strikes.
What that wasn't was a very aggressive swing. Jake Odorizzi catching Alex Presley by surprise, and this is more of just an emergency hack. Maybe looking for the changeup. Way late on that fastball way. Get a good shot of it here. Yeah, he was definitely sitting off speed.
Two outs, a couple of strikeouts in the inning, and here's Jose Altuve. To move to first, Singleton back in. Now, Singleton's such a big guy, that just might be his normal lead. Bunyan-esque over there. He's so big.
Long legs, doesn't take him long to get back there. Stride and dive.
Into right. That's Geyer in his tracks making the catch. No run to walk and a man left. We go to the Rays half of the third. 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Third inning, that close pitch on Jake Elmore. Interesting, guys, because Elmore knows Keuchel as well as anybody, having played with him. Here's Elmore about his competitiveness.
He's a bulldog, and that's the one thing I remember about him. I was telling somebody earlier, you know, even playing cards with him, like, he's the guy that hates to lose. Like, if you beat him in checkers, he wants to flip the board over, and it's genuine. He's mad.
So you guys were wondering if he was lingering with that missed call. Well, the Rays were able to get 3 off him, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, and you couldn't blame him. I'll tell you, Rays got a big break there. Evan Longoria leading off the bottom of the third with a count 1-1. And boy, that's a tough thing to do when you think you've ended the inning, and then to get through that and continue it. There's a base hit into left by Evan. The Rays put the leadoff man on for the second straight inning.
You know, it is disappointing, but it's also something that you have to handle. You know, mistakes are going to be made. Now, that turns out to be a big one, but you've got to be able to, you know, try to come back and recover. Keuchel was not able to do that. He leaves a changeup here to Longoria. He gets a base hit. Now, one thing I will say about that pitch is when we showed the grip of that pitch, that was going to be a front door two-seamer. And so he's going to start it off the plate and have it run back to that inside corner to get the call. And sometimes you will get those umpires seeing that ball out of the hand. They give up on it, like the hitter does, because they see it out of the hand off the plate. They predetermine and never take into account that late movement that takes it back to the corner. So that, that has a tendency to happen from time to time.
Yeah, and to do that 3-2 is a highly technical pitch, one that's only executed by gifted pitchers.
And that's where an umpire, you want to know the umpire? The umpire needs to know the pitcher, what he likes to do, what he does.
Forsythe, a popper back of first, and Singleton back there to make the catch from first base inside the right field line. We'll take another look at that pitch, and to this point, the most pivotal pitch in the game.
Well, here it is. A little late movement. You can see Jake lifting up that back arm. Like, ooh, that ball's going to be in. Ooh, ends up on the corner. He even took a false step towards the dugout because I think he thought that it was a strike too. Everybody but Greg Gibson, and he's the only one that counts.
But he did go up with the arms to suggest, hey, maybe that's a little close.
Do you remember Frank Thomas?
Oh,
you could throw balls down the middle, and he would throw his hands up to try to get that non-call.
He was great at that.
Oh.
Joey Butler, a ball, no strikes, the count to him.
That was infuriating. You're like, you don't need any more help, for goodness sake.
And he had that great reach anyway.
Yeah.
So 2-0 the count. Runner on, one out. Butler scored in the 3-run second. There's that pitch, that strike.
That wasn't even as good. That was not even as good as the one that was missed. It was not.
Oh, there's strike two. 2-2.
Well, hey, listen, Rays aren't, nobody's apologizing for anything. You get a break, you take advantage of it. That's what you need to do. He could have retired the next hitter and been out of that inning, but the Rays put a couple hits together.
Yeah, Rene Rivera, what a big hit that was.
You don't see him hitting ground balls to the right side, and that's because, you do your game planning. You do your homework. You understand the majority of his fastballs are going to be down and away, so you take that other way approach.
Just a little bit of that one fouled by Butler.
He does such a great job, at working with the pitching staff. We talk about it. We saw it last night with Erasmo Ramirez, how, the way that he uses his hand gestures to kind of coax a guy through.
Well, that's his primary job on this team. He understands that from the first day he showed up in spring training. That was his priority, and through all the Rays have had to go through with all of the injuries to their pitching staff, he has been invaluable coaching and coaxing these younger pitchers through some very big innings as Butler's out on strikes, and it's doing just the things that you mentioned. So very quietly behind the plate, he's been extremely valuable to this team with the job he's done.
And very quietly at the plate, he's starting to pick it up a little bit. Had a 3-hit night in Kansas City, a big hit, obviously, against a tough pitcher here in Keuchel in his first at-bat.
James Loney. The pitch is a strike. Three strikeouts in the game for Keuchel. Hop toward the left field line, and that's Alex Presley. The Rays are out in the third inning. No runs, a hit, and the man left. 3-0 Rays. 4th, the timeless moment today, brought to you by Coors Banquet. June 21st last year when Jake Odorizzi made his only other start against the Astros. Gave up just 1 hit in 7 1/3 innings and struck out 10 en route to an 8-0 win. His career strikeout high is 11. That came against Cleveland. 10 against Houston. And there's a breaking ball, curveball, strike 1. Preston Tucker, the hitter. Tucker, Correa, and Rasmus due up. One ball, 1 strike. The shift on for Tucker. That means Longoria is on the right side of second base. It's a popper, going to be foul. 1-2. Ball foul out of play.
And did you see how late Preston Tucker was on 92-mile-an-hour fastball? See, what Jake Odorizzi forces hitters to do is to think. And when you get a hitter thinking, they're not good.
That's what Yogi said. Can't think and hit at the same time.
That's it. His assortment of pitches and locations.
Yeah, not only do you have to protect the entire strike zone, but then there's the change of speed to go along with it.
And a little above and a little below, or a lot below right there.
2-2. Ball headed toward left center field. That's going to fall in front of Kiermaier. And Tucker has a base hit on the off-speed pitch.
2 strikes, able to soft serve that into center field and just drop it in front of Kiermaier. And a leadoff base runner here for the Astros in the 4th. Now you got to go to work.
The shortstop Carlos Correa coming up here. Rizzi making his first start, just back off the disabled list with the oblique injury, so it cost him a little more than a month, almost 5 weeks gone. Slow and outside, and for a good part of that, you basically do nothing.
You've got to let it heal.
The oblique injury, yeah.
You can't go play catch. You just re-aggravate it. And that's why anytime that injury, and his was not as severe as they can be, but you're still saying, well, you almost can't play catch until you're symptom free. Then you've got to build back up from there. So it's time consuming.
Behind Correa, 2-0. Yeah, he said it in so many words that he just felt helpless. He watched the team, but he really couldn't do much until the pain went away, and that's been gone quite a while now. But as you point out, it's the build-up factor then to get you back to the point where you're ready to go.
And think about if you're Ron Porterfield or Paul Harker trying to set up the protocol, because you get a guy symptom-free, and obviously there's a lot of people have done it before and will do it again down the road. But you got your protocol set up. How many throws do you let him for? What intensity? How far? Because you don't want him to re-aggravate it, because then just set yourself back.
Well, now he has walked Correa on 4 pitches. He's going to push Tucker up to second. And Jim Hickey's going to make a trip to the mound.
Well, you get into a dangerous part of the lineup here with Rasmus and Gaddis and Valbuena. A lot of home runs with those 3 guys. You saw Rasmus get one here last night off Ramirez. And so you give your starting pitcher here a little bit of a blow. And then obviously right there, Jim Hickey talking mechanics top to bottom, driving the ball downhill.
You mentioned those hitters, among them 45 home runs so far this year. Rasmus hit one last night, his first time up. Astros have hit 123 home runs. They're tops in that department. Strike one. Change up. Rasmus against Ramirez last night. Rasmus left that pitch out over the middle of the plate, down, and he just lifted it out of here. 0-2.
You can see he's got that uppercut swing, and you know that's what the Houston Astros want. They want guys that hit the ball in the air. That's the whole mindset of this organization, putting together this lineup. Obviously, you're going to benefit from a lot of home runs. You're also going to get a lot of strikeouts.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Blue Jays, the former team for Rasmus. The Blue Jays beat Kansas City 6-2. Mark Burley won his 10th game. He's 10-5.
He just keeps plugging away, plugging away. Take your 82, 83 mile an hour heater and just keep winning. Knows how to use it.
Ooh, you didn't miss by much there. The count is 2-2.
I'd come right back with that changeup here. Show him that fastball. It was off the plate.
Piece of it foul. So another 2-2 pitch to be made. Rizzi gave up a walk in the third, now a single and a walk in the fourth. Is Rasmus out in front of the changeup. Big strikeout for Rasmus for the first out. Right now, let's check in with Todd Kalas for an update.
Yeah, you're right, Dwayne. We have an update from the clubhouse on Asdrubal Cabrera. Right hamstring strain. Right hamstring strain on Cabrera, guys.
And we'll see how that progresses. And one would hope, but I'll tell you, the way he went down, it appeared to be obviously painful. And you hope that it's not as bad as it looked. Evan Gattis takes a pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, the work that he's done for the Rays, you know, out in the field. I mean, he's combined with Evan Longoria, the best left side of the infield in Major League Baseball. They just don't make mistakes, and they cover just about everything.
Yeah, Cabrera has been really fun to watch. Great hands, great feet. He makes difficult plays look routine.
And he's gotten some big hits. He's gotten some big hits for this ball club. Some big home runs.
Well, including the double in the second inning that put him on base. Gattis sends a fly ball right center. And right there is Geyer to make the catch. Tucker tags and goes to third. Houston with runners on the corners, first and third with 2 outs. Luis Valbuena.
One more big out to get out of this tough spot. You talked about the home runs that, you know, cutting right down through this part of the lineup. Valbuena leading the way with 19 of them. But you see, he gives up an average, makes up for it in production. That's really the story of this lineup. This lineup, there are a lot of holes in swings, that you can exploit, but boy, oh boy, do they make you pay for mistakes.
Well, Buena takes the pitch down. Well, we know how the Rays for the first half have struggled to score runs. Something as basic as average. Rays are hitting 240. Well, Houston's only hitting 241, but they've hit 123 home runs, and the Rays have been 78. So therein lies the offensive difference. 2-0, and we mentioned the strikeouts last night, how the Rays have struck out a lot, but not nearly what the Astros have done in the strikeout department. So the Astros, it's a strikeout or hit it out lineup.
The complete opposite of what the Rays just saw in Kansas City. That's a team that they're not going to walk, but they're also not going to strike out. They're going to put the ball in play, make things happen, and they gave the Rays fits.
Boy, they really took it to the Rays. 3-0 now the count to Valbuena with Hank Conger on deck.
And not many home runs out of him either. Just a lot of action, a lot of movement. But sometimes you'd rather face a lineup like this. If you're able to have confidence in making your pitches and being able to spot the ball on both sides of the plate, you want to face this lineup.
And he's swinging 3-0 and fouls it 3-1. Well, right there, I mean, this team's up there to swing and try to hit the ball out.
And boy, you can take advantage of that if you're on top of your game. Cleveland was able to do that. They've been on a little bit of a slide here, the Astros. Cleveland pitchers dominated them, actually have dominated them all season long. You want to follow the blueprint on how to beat the Astros hitters. Look at what the Indians pitching staff has done to them.
And that is ball 4. And we'll load the bases. Tucker already at third. Correa moves up to second, and Valbuena heads to first. The bases loaded with 2 outs here in the 4th inning, and Hank Conger will bat. The switch hitting catcher, hitting 235 right now, and he came into the game hitting 326 from the left side. So he's in there today against the Rays right-hander. And it's popped up. Left side, foul ball for Longoria. He's got it, and Houston will leave the bases loaded. Rays get out of that one. Bottom of the 4th coming. Rays 3, Houston nothing.
The bottom of the 4th, despite not having Steven Souza Jr. in the lineup. He was placed on the 15-day disabled list back on July 5th after he was hit by a pitch and suffered a pinky injury. It seems as if his rehab is going well.
Today we did on the tee, in the cage, played catch, through the bases. The diagnosis was positive, so it looks like if everything goes well, I'll be able to come off as soon as I'm eligible, which would be the second day in Philly.
Dwayne, if I'm doing my math right, he should be back in time and ready to go for the Philadelphia series after Toronto and after the All-Star break.
Yeah, and that's a big power threat that the Rays miss in the middle of their lineup as Kevin Kiermaier leads off the bottom of the 4th inning. And back to the hill on the 0-1 pitch. Keuchel is going to throw him out. Kiermaier in there as a result of the injury sustained by Asdrubal Cabrera. Kiermaier, who was not in the starting lineup, out his first at bat against this tough left-hander. Kiermaier was hitting .268 against left-handed pitching. You know, there's a guy you would think long-term, lefties and righties, even against lefties, you know, he'll battle up there, and because of his speed, he's always a threat.
Slap the ball to the left side.
Yep.
You know, beat out a chopper. You know, he's a guy that I think that you view down the road as your everyday center fielder. And so he's got to be out there every single day because he can affect a game so many ways. Take a walk, steal a bag, go from first to third when no one else would, run down balls in the gaps, cover ground defensively, run prevention. I mean, he offers so much, you know, during the course of a ball game that's a guy you want out there every single day.
Yeah, this was a move that the injury forced, but really the Rays get up 3-0, and Kiermaier gets into the game. You're going, yeah, that's a good move.
It is,
because it makes your defense better, and still I think offensively, even against lefties, he's got a shot to beat out a hit. The ground ball to third by Elmore. So 2 quick outs in the 4th inning. Base is empty with 2 gone. Rene Rivera with 2 big runs batted in the 3-run second. Won't strike the count. You know, you looked at Keuchel's numbers home and away, and you think, well, maybe there's something special about him pitching at home and not as well on the road. But those road numbers are good numbers. The home numbers are just that much more outstanding.
Yeah, and he's the type of pitcher with, you know, the style that should win anywhere, just because of the way that he keeps the ball on the ground for the most part, picks up some strikeouts here or there. But, it could just really come down to a comfort level. He just loves pitching at home, and some guys are like that. But, you look for reasons why, and in this case, I don't think that you can. Like you said, I think he's just been so great at home that the disparity's bigger than what it normally would be.
2-2.
You're a starting pitcher with a 3.28 on the road. Not too shabby.
Yeah, you'll take that. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, last year, for an example, his road ERA was 3.04 and at home 2.79, and yet he was 4-5 at home. Full count now to Rivera.
Well, the one thing that you do know is when you look at his pitch breakout with the fastball, he's really 70-30 away in. And obviously, you're going to pitch like that because that's, the type of pitch you are, but also the ballpark that you play in. You want those right-handed hitters to have to beat you out into right center field in Houston.
Yep, and Rivera is called out on strikes. 1-2-3 go the Rays, and we're headed into the 5th inning. 3-0 Tampa Bay.
Raise up for Army Air Corps Second Lieutenant Andrew H. Hines and all POWs and MIAs. During World War II, Lieutenant Hines was shot down over Hungary and was a POW in several German prison camps. Liberated in 1945, eventually Hines became president of Florida Power and then chairman of Florida Progress, a dedicated member of the Tampa Bay Rays community. We raise up for our heroes. How do you raise up? Guys, quite an individual. His family was here today, greeted by Matt Moore, Matt Silverman before the game. His son has been a season ticket holder at Tropicana Field since the very first year of 1998. His granddaughter sang the national anthem today. And today we dedicate a special chair here in foul territory down the right field line in honor of all POWs and MIAs. The POW MIA Chair of Honor. You see Matt Moore greeting his family, and then Mr. Hines himself, Andy Hines, originally out of Lake City, Florida. And the special chair dedicated in the outfield, guys, is a ground ball to first base for James Loney, who will make the play. It reads, the above unoccupied chair is in honor of those that are still prisoners of war or missing in action, and symbolizes that there will always be a place in the stadium awaiting their return. You will not be forgotten. Army Air Corps Second Lieutenant Hines was an amazing man. He wrote on a book of cigarette packages on the back of them during his time as a prisoner of war, and he has been a pillar in the community. And we are proud to have him as a member of the Rays community as well. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, you cannot do enough for those men and women who do things that the rest of us cannot do. And so that's a great gesture there by the Rays. Alex Presley bunts this one foul, strike one. Presley struck out his first time. One out with the bases empty. Odorizzi with an extended fourth inning when Houston left the bases loaded, a 25-pitch inning. And still, Jake on about a 15-pitch per inning pace, which is normal for him this year. That's one thing that he really trimmed over last year when he averaged about 18 pitches per inning.
You know, we talk about a lot of the Rays pitchers. We talk about efficiency. That's what he wanted to get deeper into games, but he also wanted to be more efficient to be able to allow himself to get deeper into games. And you look at his numbers from last year to this year. Strikeouts significantly down, walks significantly down, and therefore that leads to pitches per inning down, almost 3 per. So you pitch to contact, use your defense, attack early, and guess what? Now instead of going 5 innings or 5 1/3, he came into this start averaging 6 1/3 innings a start, pitching into the 7th.
Yeah, it's good all the way around. The pace of game is much better. He can pitch deeper into games.
You remember last year, he had more than a strikeout an inning.
Yep.
And he still can get the strikeout, but he's not put such a premium on that. It's about getting ahead and putting guys away. Do it as quick as I can. Get my guys off the field, get the bats back in their hand as soon as possible.
He's ahead of Presley, a ball, 2 strikes. Rays got their 3 runs in the second inning. They have 3 runs, 5 hits. Houston, no runs, 1 hit. This one pulled down to Loney, and he'll make the play on this one unassisted, handling both John Singleton and Alex Presley.
Boy, how many outs have been recorded on the changeup today? Whether it be the strikeout or weak ground balls, there have been a ton against this lineup.
Two up, 2 down. And here's Jose Altuve. And I guess when you look at this Houston lineup, the use of the off-speed pitch is a weapon that you think you might be able to use effectively against them.
Especially that changeup, because they want to hit the fastball. I mean, young power hitters, they salivate for heaters. So you give them the pitch that looks just like it. This arm speed's the same. It comes out of the hand the same. and they get geared up for it, and it's just not there. And so you can take full advantage of a team like this if you've got a good changeup, and that's a pitch that the Rays put a premium on.
Fly ball back into right. Geyer's going to go to the track for it to make the catch. 1, 2, 3 go the Astros. Bottom of inning 5 coming. 3-0 Rays. Sun Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Checkers. Mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. Get 2 for $5.
There's some adjustments we need to make here at the ballpark.
Yes, you're right. We'll get to that in just a second as Brandon Guyer takes ball 1. You're right. In-game entertainment between half innings.
In the game, well, they have a clip. They have a fan guess how that clip is going to end. And one of the choices, it was a pop-up down the left field line. One of the choices was player, which was Evan Longoria, jumps the wall and catches the ball. Okay? Which I would have thought, well, he's going to jump the wall and then catch the ball in foul territory. I don't think that that's how it happens. So I would have gone with one of the other options.
Yep.
And it turns out that that was the option, but he caught the ball, then he jumped the wall.
Yep.
But the way it's worded, it's player jumps the wall and catches the ball. It's backwards, and I'm tired of seeing it.
Yeah, should be catch the ball, jumps the wall.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's just get it right.
Just another reason that this chemistry is so good. Sitting here just to my right is this perfectionist left-hander.
Well, trying to be. but it's just one of those things where, I mean, you played along. I've got upper lip sweat going right now. I was so fired up.
1 strike, the count to Jaso. Come back here to Keuchel and a couple of quick outs here. I like it, though. If you're going to do it, let's do it right. Like that. Like the fire. Love the fire.
Doesn't mean you always get it right, but you're always striving to get it right.
Too close to the fire, but I really like it.
Yeah, well. And that's like the 3rd time I've seen that. So it's like, let's make the adjustment now.
Enough already.
Yeah.
Every time you're looking for it to be corrected.
And it's not.
3rd time,
no.
Just couldn't take it anymore.
Autopilot.
Yeah. 2 outs with the bases empty, and here is Evan Longoria. Pitch is a strike. Evan had a base hit in the 3rd. This one off the mound and a big hop out to Altuve. And that's a 3 ground ball, 1-2-3 inning. Through 5, it's 3-0 Rays. 0-0 lead. Big hit in the bottom of the second by Rene Rivera scored the first 2 runs when Cabrera had a blowout of that hamstring, scoring the second run. Brandon Guyer followed suit with a base hit. That scored Jake Elmore to make it 3-0, and it's been from that point forward a match between Keuchel and Odorizzi. Jake, through 5 innings, has made 70 pitches, throwing one-hit baseball here.
So much for wondering what Jake Odorizzi was going to look like coming back.
That's pretty remarkable, coming off the DL and giving the Rays 5 excellent innings here. First pitch to Preston Tucker, who has the only hit, and the pitch is a ball.
He's resembling Jake Odorizzi.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. I love those steady Midwestern, Central Time Zone guys, and that's what he is.
Yep.
A little town, Highland, Illinois. He's got great values, great work ethic, and he's all business. And I think that counts for something in the way they approach the game and his performance.
Look at the last year was his first full season in the big leagues, and I think he learned some things about himself. I didn't get as deep into games as I wanted to get. I expect more out of myself. What do I have to do to get better? Well, he put on some weight in his lower half in the offseason to try to strengthen his legs, to give him more stamina. He decided to become more efficient on the mound in the sense that don't always go for the strikeout unless you need it. I mean, if you happen by the strikeout and you get a bunch, okay, but don't always have to go for it. Pitch to contact, use your good defense, and by doing that, you stay strong. You lower the number of pitches per inning. That leads to deeper into the game. I mean, it's just a full circle.
Well, it's a great combination of both the physical and the mental side of moving forward. Great combination, and that's a big reason why anybody out here is going to be successful. You put those two together with work ethic,
yeah,
I mean, you're golden.
What about his counterpart, Chris Archer? He's taken that next step into the elite level. And Jake Odorizzi, he's taken the next step. These guys are doing a lot of work and a lot of thinking, sharpening in the offseason coming in, and it's paying off.
Yeah, that's the fun part. You see the fastball there takes care of Tucker. That's really one of the fun parts of following a team all year and from season to season. You see development in guys.
Yeah.
It really turns out to be, in many ways, a human interest story, a baseball season. Every season's different, and with the ups and downs. And so you can't, when a club goes through a stretch like the Rays just did, you can't completely, you just can't be morose, because there's a lot of baseball left, and so there will be the ebbs and flows of the season. It just makes it interesting. Sometimes frustrating. Sometimes there's situations that are extremely positive. You're elated by what's going on. And other times really challenges, and nobody knows that more than that guy right there back in the dugout, Kevin Cash. These managers, yeah, good luck.
I mean, with no experience, coming off of 2 years of being a bullpen coach, and absolutely, qualified. He wowed the Rangers in his interview there. That, of course, put him on everybody's radar. And he ends up here in Tampa. But, boy, he's going to learn a lot about himself over the course of this season.
And, to his credit, I haven't seen any difference in him when this team is going great guns and then when they struggle. He's the same guy.
I thought that on the plane flight home from Kansas City.
Yeah.
Watching him.
Me too.
I'm like, that is so important to a big league club, and he gets it. Because you've got to be the same guy. You cannot ride the waves. You've got to be consistent in your demeanor, and I thought that on that plane ride back after that horrible trip, after the horrible homestand.
You know what I chalk that up to? He was a catcher and had to take care of all those pitchers. And if you can spend your playing career taking care of pitchers, that prepares you for those situations.
Is that right? Is that you had the same look on your face that Todd Callis has when he lets us know that there's a window coming and we're going to sit around and do nothing for hours. Very happy to deliver bad news.
Oh, base hit to right. 1 out single here for Carrera. I like pitchers.
Oh,
I have a lot of respect for them. I think it's a great part of the game.
But you were very giddy. You even took the position. You squared off towards me, and you wanted to be like,
I wanted you to know that how heartfelt that was. My appreciation of pitchers at the very important part of this game. You're out there on the mound by yourself, and if you've got a manager who understands that, I think it helps both the pitcher and the manager.
Especially when he's a former catcher.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Yeah, see? So, there you are. Kind of feel like a catcher myself right now. Jim Hickey to the mound here after that base hit. The pitch count for Odorizzi a little over 80, and the Rays have some bullpen action. Xavier Cedeno was up earlier, and he's just been joined by Geltz. So the Rays with a lefty and a righty. And Colby Rasmus is the hitter due up. (3-5-0) for the Rays. 0-2-0 now for Houston with his base hit by Carlos Correa. Rasmus fouls it. Pitch up a little bit there, and Rasmus went after it. You want to be careful.
Thank goodness it was away. That was a changeup that stayed up. And one thing that Jake had going for him was it was off the plate away, and so just a foul ball.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, you know what? His line looks good. He looks good. You know, not favoring anything. The velocities are the same. Same style of pitching.
And that's a fastball away. Takes the count to 2-1. One on with 1 out. Runners going, and the pitch is foul. So they had Correa on the move. So it's a 2-2 count. Correa 5 of 5 running for Houston. Astros trying to force the issue a little bit here against Odorizzi.
You know, sometimes you have to do that. We see that a lot with the Rays pitching staff. They're so good and so difficult to put a lot of hits together that teams, you know, are forced to try to run on them from time to time. It's just hard to generate offense.
Houston had the bases loaded in the 4th inning. And Odorizzi left them that way. Now a 1-out single, putting a man at first in the 6th. And again over there. Pitch count up to 86 here. First outing for Odorizzi coming off the DL. A little tapper foul, forcing another 2-2 pitch. Rays won last night 3-1, snapping a 4-game losing streak and extending the Houston losing streak to 4. Houston starting the day a half game in first place in the AL West. Line drive, that's going to hook foul beyond the bullpen mound and out of play.
You know, with that uppercut in the swing of Colby Rasmus, now might be the time for the heater at the letters. 2 strikes, looking to protect, got him in swing mode. He's seen an awful lot of the off speed. Maybe you rush that fastball right across the Houston on his chest and try to get the chase up.
A 2-2 count. This will be the 7th pitch of this at bat. And he got it. Came fastball, struck him out. Exactly what they did.
Well, you could kind of see that coming down the pike. That was a great job by Jake Odorizzi in reading Colby Rasmus, and he comes with the heater, elevated, and gets it over the swing. Exactly what we thought.
And with that, Kevin Cash comes out of the Rays dugout. Nice job by Jake Odorizzi. 2 outs into the 6th inning. He will depart. And a great return for the Rays right-hander. Gets the Rays 2 outs into the 6th inning.
Well, it really wasn't into much trouble. In the 4th inning, he had the bases loaded with 2 outs, but retired Hank Conger on a first pitch foul out to Evan Longoria. But other than that, it was vintage Jake Odorizzi, moving the ball around the strike zone, elevating that heater, the changeup down, the occasional curveball to get ahead, just like we saw back on June the 5th against Seattle. That's how long it's been. He comes right back like he did not miss a beat.
So 89 pitches for Odorizzi. Steve Geltz in here with a man at first, and Evan Gattis is the hitter. First pitch to him, it's away. 1 ball and no strikes. And that's fouled. 1-1. Gattis has grounded out to third, hit a fly ball to right. Two and one. Geltz worked an inning Thursday in Kansas City, picked up a strikeout. Brandon Gomes has joined Xavier Cedeno in the bullpen. Runner at first, Correa. Blue Jays beat Kansas City today, 6-2. Blue Jays get back to 500. There's a strike. It's 2-2. Word out of that game. Jose Bautista was in the lineup, went 1 for 5 today, but he's out of the All-Star game because of the injury to his right shoulder. Ground ball over the mound, and right there at second base with the scoop, Forsythe stepping on the bag. We're going to go to the bottom of the 6th with the Rays leading 3-0. Rays scored all 3 of their runs in the second inning. They're coming in to hit in the bottom of the 6th with Logan Forsythe to lead off. His leadoff single in the second started that inning when the Rays grabbed the lead. Keuchel's first pitch, and Forsythe takes it inside. A ball, no strikes. It's a strike now, 1-1. Keuchel has retired 9 in a row since the base hit in the 3rd by Longoria. That's into left center field. Going to be in there for a base hit. A big hop to Rasmus and a big turn at first. Forsythe decides to hold on. Logan Forsythe now 2 for 3 on the day. In the game today and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Joey Butler will lead off. Butler 0 for 2. Looks at a fastball. That's a strike. One and one. Now a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, and understanding that Joey Butler likes to go up the middle the other way, Dallas Keuchel is pitching him in so far in this at bat, and the defense is swung around to reflect that.
Down and in, blocked by Conger, and no attempt to advance by Forsythe.
You know, you think about Joey Butler and the propensity for him to go up the middle the other way, a vast majority of his hits, and then you give him a lane like this to work with, but yet the way they're pitching him, it's going to be impossible for him to hit the ball the other way. It's right now up the middle and pull because they continue to come in.
Count is full. Fastball was down on deck. James Loney
may not have to swing the bat.
Runner goes, and the pitch hit on the ground to short, out at second and out at first.
I would take a look at that out at second, although Logan Forsythe not putting up much of a beef. That was really close out there at second, the Astros middle infielders.
Kevin Cash wants to talk with Greg Gibson here.
Correa's got to get rid of this quickly because of the runner in motion. Yep, he got him. That's a good call, and I think Logan probably watching that happen right in front of him understands that they got that there in time. And then complete the double play right there.
So Butler grounds into the double play, and the Rays lose that base runner. And Gibson wants to get together with the rest of the umpiring crew.
I wonder what they could be talking about, because it looked pretty clean on the replay we saw. And that ball's definitely in the glove. Altuve off. Let's see, the ball in the glove, his foot on the bag. Or did it go into the glove? Now maybe they're saying that he had his foot off the bag a little bit early.
Yeah, you can see Tom Foley saying, I thought his foot was off the bag.
Yeah. As the ball goes into the glove, is that foot off the bag? Like the Evan Longoria play in New York.
Well, let's take another look right here.
I don't know if you get that overturned. That ball's into the glove. That foot is on the bag. It's close. There's no question about that.
The Rays had Forsythe breaking on that pitch to try to avoid the double play and at least force the issue. And they did, to the point where the Rays at least holding a conversation with this crew about whether Altuve did have his foot on the bag as he backed behind second base. And so Kevin went out, asked them to talk it over among themselves before he decided to take a look at that, I guess.
You got to explain to him what you're challenging. So we're saying that Altuve got the ball, his foot was coming off the bag, all of that. It took a while, but I guess they're going to take a look at it now. You know, it hit. Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe. Well, yeah. Apparently you can.
Well, you know, it's interesting. That neighborhood play usually is coming across the bag. Maybe this is stepping back off the bag. And is that the neighborhood play then?
And who knows? Who knows? You just sit back and enjoy, because, you know, here's the thing. Altuve had no choice. Because Forsythe was put in motion, he had nowhere to go but behind and off the bag. It didn't take long. There we go.
So I think that was it, trying to figure out the parameters of the neighborhood play. What legally constitutes the neighborhood play? Is it just coming across the bag or close to it when you had the ball? Or is it actually being on the bag and then stepping behind and off the bag?
Yeah, let's pass more laws. Let's just have more laws. Just muddy up the picture even more.
Teams are going to have to start suiting up attorneys.
Old style, a guy in the dugout in a suit.
Here's Loney and a ground ball to Altuve to retire the side. Does that count as a roster spot, though? Take a look at the Geico great moment in history on this date in 2010. Final game before the All-Star break, and Jason Bartlett, the Rays shortstop, delivered the walk-off single, scoring Carl Crawford as the Rays beat Cleveland 6-5 in 10 innings, finishing a franchise record 20 games over 500 at the All-Star break. Rays and Houston and the rest of baseball marching to the All-Star break here on this Saturday. Jake McGee, the new Rays pitcher, on for the 21st time, facing Luis Valbuena.
They're giving him another crack. Luis Valbuena greeted him last night with an opposite field double into the gap. That was Jake's first outing in 1 week. Quickly shake the rust off, and then he went right to work.
And he missed there. It's 2-0. 5 2/3 for Odorizzi, a third for Geltz. Now it's McGee. That's a strike. Takes the fastball. Cut and a miss. 2-2. Just a little piece of that one off the mitt. Jake, in his last 16 appearances, 15 1/3, no earned runs, with 22 strikeouts and 1 base on balls.
Dominant, just complete dominance.
Full count. Conger will be next, due next, but I guess he will hit the switch hitter. He'll turn around, hit right-handed. And then Singleton, who is a left-handed bat, due to hit third. And the fastball is fouled back. That would hit around 94.
I think that's the best velocity we've seen so far from Jake. A little bit down over what we saw last night. He's had a number of back-to-backs, though. In fact, last night he was used. It was the first time in a week, but that outing on July the 3rd, he'd also pitched on July the 2nd. So not out of the ordinary.
Three-two again. It's fouled out of play. Valbuena opening the 7th. And again, a foul ball. Valbuena forcing the issue here. He's going to run this to at least a 10-pitch at bat. Rays and the Blue Jays started the day each 4.5 back in the East, a game under. And the Blue Jays have won, so they're at the 500 mark. 3-2 and a high foul. That's lifted out of play. So we're 10 pitches into this at bat.
Well, one heater after the other. Power on power. Valbuena's been able to fight him off. If it was... You would think about maybe going to the curveball here, but with the 3-run lead and the fastball that you have, full count, you just continue to stay on with that heater, and that's what they're going to do.
3-2 and a liner into right field, and it's going to be caught by Geyer. Liner started to sink on him, and he made the catch.
And Luis Valbuena didn't even make it down to first base and just kind of shooed Brandon Geyer away. like you got to just go away. He put up a battle, he hits a bullet, and he's robbed. Boy, that's a tough play to handle. That ball's got velocity and sinking action on it.
11 pitches, and they finally get Valbuena. Here's Hank Conger hitting right-handed now, and he takes ball 1. Now you have that kind of an at-bat, a left-handed hitter against the left-hander McGee with his stuff. You take him to 11 pitches and then hit the line drive and have it caught.
A line drive that off the bat he thought was going to get down for at least a single.
There's ball 2.
Well, here's that reaction we were talking about. He looks out there and he's like, get out of here. You kidding me?
Ball 3, a fastball outside. Now Jake, after that long at bat, the matchup with Valbuena, he's behind Conger 3-0. And he walks him. 1 out walk. So Houston with a base runner. Now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SSDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, they're going to lift Singleton. And we're going to get Chris Carter as the pinch hitter. So Conger has walked. Carter's going to be the hitter. And Jim Hickey heads to the mound. Well, Jake Odorizzi got out of a bases loaded situation back in the 4th when he gave up a single and 2 walks. And now with the Rays leading 3-0, McGee has walked Conger with 1 out, and Chris Carter with big time power will be the hitter. You see he's hitting 189 with 15 home runs. Kevin Jepson up in the bullpen for the Rays. Carter hit 37 home runs last year. And Jake misses with ball 1. Cut and a miss. It's 1-1.
This is one of those matchups where Chris Carter, one thing on his mind, Jake McGee going to keep attacking him with the fastball. No surprises here. Who's better?
Cut and a miss, and with Carter, it's generally everything or nothing. That's what he gives this team with all those home runs last year. 37 homers and 182 strikeouts. And he's out on strikes. 95 got him. So the pinch hitter, Carter, strikes out for the 2nd out of the inning.
Well, just keep coming after him with the fastball. This one with the best velocity, and he gets it down and in on Chris Carter. Just overpowering.
Now Presley's going to be lifted, and we'll see Marwin Gonzalez hit for the left-handed bat of Alex Presley.
When Jake McGee saw Marwin Gonzalez last night, a little pop-up, infield pop-up.
Yeah, that's when Jake stayed on to open the 8th and got the 1st out. Now he faces him again. Gets a ball. It's the 20th pitch of the inning for Jake.
Well, and what you just mentioned, a good test for Jake, because he came in, pitched an inning, had to go sit, get back up for another hitter. Then he's pitching here tonight.
It's a liner, and it's going to be fair. Down toward the corner. Conger's going to head to third. Butler a little trouble corralling it, but it's a double for Gonzalez, and Conger stops at third. Now 2 men on with 2 men out in the 7th inning.
Yeah, and you've got Jose Altuve coming up who can handle the bat and can handle a fastball. Marwin Gonzalez same short there, very little stride, quick hands. You've got to against Jake McGee, keeps it fair, and here comes a real battle.
Well, you got the batting champ coming up. Altuve came into this game hitting .298 this year. And now Gonzalez will be lifted, and Jake Marisnick is going to run for him. So a big spot right now. Jake, who made 19 pitches last night, has made 21 here in this inning, and he faces Jose Altuve. Pitch inside. Altuve has popped the short twice as hit a fly ball to right.
Well, and Jose Altuve, you think of a leadoff man, the batting champ. He does have 7 home runs this year, and maybe looking to try to lose one here.
And he lines it foul. He had Conger ducking in foul territory down at third.
Well, you take that secondary lead, and you have got to be very alert.
Yeah, Conger would like to remind Altuve his job is to knock him in and not knock him out, as he ducked that line drive. Now 1-1 the count to the Houston second baseman. Lifts it into right. Geyer started back and comes in and makes the catch. 2 men left, both in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 7th, 3-0 Rays. The bottom half of the 7th inning. Dallas Keuchel, the all-star lefty. The Rays got to him for 3 in the 2nd.
Yeah, that was really the only blemish, and he really could have been out of that inning You know, he had a fastball in on Jake Elmore that was not called, probably should have been. The Rays benefited by that walk, and then all of a sudden a Rene Rivera base hit. A base hit by Brandon Guyer, and that would plate the 3 runs. That's where we sit right now.
Kevin Kiermaier getting his second look at Keuchel today. Ground ball sharply hit. Grab behind the bag and to throw to first in time. Correa, the shortstop, positioned up the middle just to the first base side of second, and he made the stop and the throw to get Kiermaier.
Boy, and you still got to rush. As sharply as this ball was hit, once you leave your feet like Correa did, what a great job. And you got to get up and fire it because the way Kiermaier gets up the line. Well, here's a great shot of everything happening. It's beautiful.
Jake Elmore. Pitch to him is too low. One and one. So the defensive setup taking a hit away from Kiermaier. It's Chris Carter staying on to play first after hitting for Singleton. It's fouled just outside of third. 1 and 2. Rays have Jepson and Gomes up in the bullpen. And Elmore takes a pitch for a ball. 2 and 2. Rasmus over in left, and Marisnick is in center field. Deep in the hole.
Wow.
Correa's throw. Got him. Correa making his second outstanding play of the inning, and this time in the hole at shortstop to get Elmore.
The arm strength. The arm strength is what blows you away on this play. He had to move far to his right and then throw across his body moving away, and it's a dart.
Elmore thinking, what do you have to do to get a hit? Outstanding by the young shortstop. Rivera fouls it down the left side. It's a liner, and it's foul again. We'll take the count to 0-2. 90 pitches on the night, or on the early evening anyway, for Keuchel.
These 4 o'clock games, they throw you off. Is it an afternoon game? It's not really a night game. It kind of ends at night.
High fly ball. That's got some distance on it. Deepest part of the park, and it's going to one-hop the wall. Rivera driving an 0-2 pitch onto the track in deep center. Back toward the triangle, and he has himself a double.
Well, we said earlier in the game, you know, quietly he's starting to swing the bat better. And he's in a bad spot here, but he gets mislocation, and he stays down and through this with some authority. And gets that ball out there really deep, one hop and over, and gives the Rays here a 2-out opportunity.
Brandon Guyer. One ball, no strikes. Well, here's an opportunity for the Rays. Very well could determine whether it's Gomes or Jepson who comes on to work the 8th. 2-0. Both busy in the bullpen. The Astros get action in their pen as well. Oh, 3 3-ball, no strike count to Geyer. Geyer drove in a run with a line base hit to left in the second. That's Will Harris down in the Houston bullpen. And that's ball 4. Geyer draws a walk, first and second with 2 outs for John Jaso.
Yeah, I don't think Dallas Keuchel, after falling behind Geyer, wanted any part of him, trying to still entice him to leave the strike zone for a swing. He wouldn't do it, so he takes a walk, and now Keuchel can battle the left-handed hitting Jaso.
Well, Jaso is 0 for 3. And that's Brent Strom, the pitching coach, headed to the mound. Keuchel in the mid-90s in pitch count. Mind your own biscuits, and life will be gravy on Saturday, July 25th. When Casey Musgraves performs a free concert on the field after the Rays play the Orioles. Play hits like biscuits and follow your arrow. For more information and to purchase on-field wristbands, visit RaysBaseball.com/concerts or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Rays up. Brent Strom has apparently just been ejected from the game. Gibson came out to hurry this along, and Strom, talking with Keuchel, probably referenced an occurrence earlier in the game, and Strom has just been ejected from the game.
The game turned on the full count fastball, or the 2-2 fastball, to Jake Elmore, where it should have been strike 3, was not called. Walks on the next pitch, and that's when the Rays put together their 3-run inning, and I'll guarantee you that was indeed part of the conversation.
Well, just a reference back to the second inning, and Strom is gone.
So there's no time limit on when you can get tossed for arguing balls and strikes.
Statute of limitations had not run out on that.
No.
Jaso grounds it to the right side. He's thrown out. Altuve to Carter. And so the Rays leave 2 in the 7th. And the Astros are down a pitching coach. Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife. By Hattrick's Tavern. Proud to introduce Hattrick's Catering. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Tropicana Field, the Rays have a 3-0 lead. Game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Stores. Rene Rivera's big 2-run single gave the Rays the lead. Brandon Geyer also singled home a run in that inning, and Jake Odorizzi returning for the first time since June the 5th. Gives the Rays 5 2/3 scoreless. Geltz, McGee, and now Kevin Jepson have all followed the Rays starter Jake Odorizzi.
Well, once again, the back end of this Rays bullpen being counted on to close out a ball game where they have the lead late. Kevin Jepson, number 2.
Preston Tucker lines it down to third. Oh, my goodness. Elmore on the left side of the infield, the only man over there, and he made the catch. A low liner. And Elmore, who's at shortstop now after starting the day in left field, is the only man over there and about 20 feet off third when he made the catch. So technically a line drive to the shortstop. Here's Carlos Correa. Well, Tucker probably over there talking with Luis Valbuena now over the couple of line drives they've each hit in the last 2 innings. And a strike to the rookie shortstop.
Well, it's a frustrated group. There's no doubt about that. They've lost 4 games in a row. They're not scoring runs, something that they've been used to doing a lot of. And so now you hit a couple of balls on the nose and have nothing to show for it. It starts to build.
A tap to third. Correa's the second out in the 8th inning. Let's check in with Todd one more time. Todd?
Hey, Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Good,
Guess
thank
what?
you.
Tomorrow for kids 14 and under, they get this inflatable chair right here. It'll be, go to 888 Fan Rays or RaysBaseball.com. I was going to test it out, but I'm not so sure. So Claire's going to try first. Come in here, Claire. Check out the seat. How's it feeling?
Comfortable.
Comfortable. Who wants to try for you guys? Julian? All right, Claire, thank you very much. Julian's going to get in here. What do you think, buddy? Good. There you go, guys. Tomorrow, 14 and under, inflatable chairs. Go to 888 Fan Rays or RaysBaseball.com. I'm not going to test my luck. We might have to do a rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to take this home, okay? Back to you guys.
All right, as endorsed by Claire. The Rays inflatable seat, comfortable.
That was very Luke Caputo-ish.
1 ball, 1 strike. He involved everybody too.
He needs to go for it. Just go for it off camera. Let's see what that chair ends up looking like.
Foul ball up the left side by Colby Rasmus. It's now 1-2. Moves it back a bit. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball, and that's going to be foul. The Rays trying to get back to 500. In at 44 and 45. Xavier Cedeno down in the bullpen for the Rays. What about Odorizzi, Geltz, McGee, and Jepson? And the count's going to go full to the Houston left fielder. More power, and Evan Gattis on deck. Fouled into the screen. Slider to short, the ground ball to third. 2 outs, full count to Rasmus. Fouls it again off the mid-90s fastball. Houston left the bases loaded in the 4th. They left 2 men in scoring position in the 7th. They've stranded 7 overall. Nobody on right now with 2 outs. Ground ball into short right, and Forsythe positioned perfectly. So the shift pays off again for the Rays. 3 up, 3 down, 3-0 Rays. And here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Matt Moore will get the start for the Rays. We'll hear from him, and we'll take a look back at the proverbial first half of the season for the Rays. That pitching matchup tomorrow. Matt Moore for the Rays against the rookie right-hander out of Tampa Jesuit. Lance McCullers will be doing the pitching for Houston. Right now, Will Harris has entered the game for Houston, with Evan Longoria leading off the bottom of the 8th. Pitch outside to Evan, who is 1 for 3 in this game.
Well, the numbers on Will Harris, as you can see, more than a strikeout an inning, or about a strikeout an inning. Look at that ERA and that opponent's average.
2-0. You know, here's another guy who has turned out to be a very good waiver claim for them. 30-year-old right-hander, and he's pitched well for Houston. High pop foul.
Well, he's an integral member of this pen, which is second in the American League in lowest earned run average. Will Harris, obviously, a big part of that at .91. The other bullpen that we're talking about a notch ahead of them, Wade Davis a part of in Kansas City.
Be foul ball tapped toward third. Brad Boxberger busy in the Rays bullpen. Popped up, foul ball. And it's going to carry out a play. He's back in the dugout. Logan Forsythe will be next. Harris in here in relief of Keuchel. In 96 pitches, 7 innings, 3 runs, all coming in the second inning. Struck out 4 and walked 2. Full count to Evan. It's Logan Forsythe on deck. Force another 3-2 pitch.
Well, it's just been one cutter after another from Will Harris in that 91 to 92 mile an hour range, trying to get that pitch to cut to the end of the bat. That's the whole design of that pitch. You're trying to miss the barrel. And depending on who's hitting a righty or lefty, take it to the end of the bat or to the handle.
There's ball 4. Leadoff walk here in the 8th. Houston has been in first place in the American League West for 83 consecutive days since the 19th of April. And they started the day a half game in front of the Angels. Houston at 49 and 40, and the Angels at 47 and 39. The Angels will be playing later on tonight in Seattle. There's a ball inside to Forsythe, and that prompts a visit from Conger. It's the American League West right now.
Boy, they've lost that lead rather quickly. The Angels have been red hot. Astros not so much. They got a chance to swap spots here. But with a young team, you wonder. They've been leading, what is it, 83?
83 consecutive days. Runner takes off, and Longoria has himself his 3rd stolen base of the year.
Well, you pick your spots. Evan Longoria occasionally will run. Didn't even have that big of a lead, but boy, he got a great jump, was paid no attention to, and he swiped second base about as easy as you'll ever see him do it.
Now a man in scoring position. 2-0 to Forsythe. Logan a 2-hit day. It's 2 balls and a strike. Tony Sipp is up, the veteran left-hander throwing in the bullpen for Houston. David DeJesus is on deck for the Rays. Forsythe takes this pitch up. 3-1.
Will Harris is diving right now towards the plate, getting the front side started too soon. A lot of his misses have been up, not able to get out in front.
Finds the zone, that's a strike.
And that's what you normally see from Will Harris, driving that ball downhill with that cutting action. That's what has led to those great numbers.
(3-2) lifted into center. Resnick there to make the catch, and not deep enough to give Longoria any thoughts of attempting an advance. Well, that's the first out here in the 8th inning. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Todd Callis and Doug Wechter will be anchoring from their spot in left field. We'll hear from Kevin Cass with his press conference, and Emily Austin will have interviews from the clubhouse. Joey Butler will bat. They did have DeJesus on deck, but it's going to be Butler here. Butler reached on a fielder's choice in the second and scored a run. He's 0 for 3 officially. It's a strike on the outside part of the plate. A walk and a steal by Evan Longoria. Butler quickly down, 0-2. And he tried to check, but he's out on strikes. So 3 pitches, 2 gone. Now, James Loney is due, and Hinch is going to make a move to the bullpen. He had the left-hander Sipp ready, and he will get the call here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Sixth appearance for Sipp with a 309 earned run average.
Yeah, pretty good numbers up and down, and an important matchup here for both of these clubs. The Rays would love to get that 4-run lead. You'd probably sit Boxberger down at that point, bring in Brandon Gomes. We'll see.
Well, it's Loney in here against Sipp. Loney 0 for 3 in his career against this lefty. The first pitch, he throws a strike. A lot of fastball and sliders from Sipp. Occasionally the change.
And you'll probably see fastball slider in this matchup.
Yep, against the left-handed hitter. 1-1, he missed with a fastball there.
These are the matchups that make it so difficult on hitters. You've got these specialists that come in that are designed, lefty to get out of lefty. Tough matchups late in the game.
It's tough enough to hit to begin with. He did not go there. Tough enough just to hit a round ball with a round bat squarely. But then you've got the shift against you. And you've got the matchup out of the bullpen against you.
You're building these super bullpens with, options and different styles and lots of power. It's not like it used to be. Not even close.
3-1 now, the count on Loney. Took the slider. There's Kiermaier on deck. All the scoring in the second. We're in the 8th. Ground ball up the middle, but right there, positioned perfectly. Correa. So he had to face the left-hander against the Schimpf, and he's out number 3 in the 8th. 3-0 Rays. We go to the 9th. Ninth inning at the Trop today. Tuesday, baseball's best players gather in Cincinnati for the Midsummer Classic with home field advantage for the World Series on the line. Our coverage of the 2015 MLB All-Star Game begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Brad Boxberger to the hill for the Rays, looking for his 22nd save. He'll face Evan Gattis to lead it off here with the Rays holding a 3-0 lead.
Well, he was certainly impressive in last night's ball game, picking up a couple of strikeouts and that 21st save. That fastball firm coming out. Pretty much fastball heavy last night. Couple of changeups mixed in. Got a changeup strikeout looking.
First pitch to Gattis, and he misses with a fastball. He faced Tucker, Correa, and Valbuena last night. They have Gattis, Valbuena, and then Conger due up in this game. High popper, and that ball will be a foul ball and wind up out of play. Back of the dugout. A high pop foul off the bat of Gattis. Toronto beat Kansas City. Burley got his 10th win. That's a 6-2 final. Lifted into left center. Butler over there to make the catch. One away. Reminder, it'll be Matt Moore on the mound for the Rays tomorrow. And our coverage begins at 12:30 right here at Tropicana Field for the wrap-up game of this series leading up to the All-Star break. Matt Moore against Lance McCullers tomorrow afternoon right here at the Trop.
Well, and what you're hoping for from Matt Moore, you saw the numbers in the first 2 starts, but you continue to build up arm strength. You continue to get into a good rhythm, staying on a schedule now at the big league level. And I'm sure there's a couple of things that he'd like to do better as he goes out. You find out about yourself.
Valbuena, and a great stop right there. Longoria makes a heck of a play out of the shift. That retires Valbuena. Valbuena, what's he thinking right now? He hit the ball on a line his last time, and Geyer made the catch. Thought he might get this one through, and Longoria wouldn't let it go.
Well, Evan Longoria by nature is greedy. You know, over at third base, he's going to take anything that he can get to, and that's exactly what he did there to Logan Forsythe, who was back there to make that play, but Evan Longoria dives right in front, makes a heck of a play to retire Valbuena, and he's got to be thinking, you know what, all-star break, get me out of here. Or either that or, you know what, you've got 19 home runs. Hit him in the seats.
1-0 the count to Hank Conger. Cut and a miss. Now 1-1.
Boxberger, he gets you out in front of the changeup and then powers the fastball by you. Gets hitters in between with that fastball changeup combo.
Two balls and a strike.
Did you, just a little bit of coaching that Rivera did there with Boxberger. That changeup sailed on him. As soon as it was caught by Rivera, he gave him the international arm symbol for it. You got underneath that one. Let's get back up on top. And it's that fast.
3 balls and a strike. It's Carter on deck. And he will get a chance to bat on the walk to Conger. 5th walk given up by Rays pitching. They've allowed 3 hits. And Chris Carter will be the hitter now. Carter pinch hit in the 7th inning and stayed on to play first base. He hit from John Singleton. Swing and a miss. Down to second base on indifference goes Conger. He takes that one for a strike. 0-2. Two outs, a man at second. Rays lead 3-0, looking for the final out. A ground ball to the left side. Elmore to first, and the Rays are winners. Rays have taken the first 2 games of the series. They win this one 3-0, a combination shutout on the heels of last night's 3-1 victory over Houston. So the Rays have taken the Major League's home run hitting leading team, and they've held them to 1 run through the first 2 games of this series, winning 3-1 and 3-0. And the Rays get back to 500. They are 45-45. And Jake Odorizzi's going to get the win. He's 5-5. Keuchel the loser. 11-4. Boxberger picking up save number 22. Took 2 hours and 41 minutes to play it before 18,479. So the Rays back on the winning side of things here, coming home and taking the first 2 games of this series from Houston leading up to the All-Star break. For Houston, they go to 49-41, and they're in danger of surrendering first place in the American League West. They've held that for 83 consecutive days. And pitching for the Rays so far in this series, Erasmo Ramirez last night, 6 superb innings en route to his 8th win, followed by McGee, Jepson, and Boxberger. And tonight, it was Jake Odorizzi giving the Rays 5 2/3 on just 2 hits. Steve Geltz followed for a third of an inning, and then Jake McGee for an inning. Kevin Jepson worked the 8th. And Brad Boxberger worked the ninth to give the Rays this combination shutout. Right now, let's go to the field and Todd Kalas.
Dwayne, thanks. Rene Rivera, a couple of hits, a couple of RBIs. You catch a shutout. Pretty pleased with your overall day?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been grounded, man. It's been a tough road, and come home and, play hard.
You know what's coming, right?
Come home and, show the fans that, we're playing the ball game hard, and, finally get some couple wins on us.
What'd you see tonight with Jake Odorizzi? Was it similar to what you saw before the injury?
Yeah, I mean, he was on like before. He felt great. He oblique felt great, and he went out there and do his work. And all the pitcher was using all the pitches, and he did great there.
5 for 13 on the road trip. You come back here, you get a couple of hits tonight, big RBIs to get the team going. Do you feel like, are you looking forward to what you can do offensively after the All-Star break? Kind of use that as a fresh start?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working hard. I know it starts slow at the plate, but, this stuff going to happen in baseball. That's why you play 162 games. So, hopefully now continue producing on the plate and get a better second half.
Ryan Anderson mentioned that you are always, and Dwayne also mentions, you always work well with your pitchers. And even that last inning when Boxberger got under a changeup, just a reminder for him. Do you love that little give and take you have with your pitching staff?
Well, yeah, that's my the best part of my game. Back there working hard. I want to win games. If I hit, it's okay. If not, I have to call a good game, call a shutout, and throw people out. That's my game is.
We love that attitude, Rene. Thanks. Go enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Rays winners. It's a 3-0 final, taking the first 2 games of this series from Houston and winning a series. That's been something the Rays have been looking for. Well, they've already done that. Tomorrow they'll look for a potential sweep. Our coverage begins at 12:30 tomorrow, right here on Sun Sports, with Matt Moore going to the mound against Lance McCullers. For Brian Anderson, Todd Kalas, and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays are winners, 3-0.